to Eben.
Cross-examination, they say, could start today, Chriselda, and that, one would think, is expected to be quite brutal.
We're expecting Oscar Pistorius this morning. He's not yet arrived. We're just looking here towards our left. He usually arrives at about this time, but we're expecting Oscar Pistorius again to take the stand and also give further details about what happened. You would recall yesterday he had adjourned and sobbed uncontrollably when he described how he found Reeva Steenkamp's body lying on the bathroom floor. When he says he sat over her, Oscar Pistorius couldn't contain his emotions, so we're expecting him to move on from that point this morning into what happened. We're also expecting, once that is done, once he's finished giving his side of the story for cross-examination, to begin a speculation is that might be at about 1 o'clock this afternoon. Well, of course, depending on when Oscar Pistorius finishes giving his side of the story.
He relived some of the events yesterday of that night. What was the reaction, mainstream reaction to his story that he told yesterday?
Well, even I think what everybody was looking out for was whether Oscar Pistorius would stick to the version of events that he gave in the affidavit. If Oscar Pistorius will tell the story as he jotted it down, then, if I may. So Oscar Pistorius yesterday really very emotional when he began describing the events of February the 13th when he arrived home and found Reeva Steenkamp preparing dinner. They had dinner together. Says they sat at the table and had a conversation like every loving couple, and basically they retired to bed. He'd woken up at some point and went to bring out the fans that were on the balcony. He heard sounds and went on to describe when he actually went into combat mode. I recall him also describing a situation where he said, "My lady, that is when everything changed," basically describing at what point he went into combat mode when he says he realized that there might be somebody in the house, somebody trying to break in to his Silverwoods estate home.
The Steenkamp family, especially Mother June, remained stony-faced throughout, dropped her head several times while listening to his testimony yesterday. Has there been any further reaction from the Steenkamp family after what he or his version that he started to put together on the stand yesterday?
Well, Eben, we've been having a discussion here outside and saying it's truly remarkable how June Steenkamp has reacted to or listened and remained stony-faced as she listened to Oscar Pistorius give details of what he says happened on that morning. But as time went on, we saw other members of the family start crying. They were wiping their faces with tissue, and as we looked towards the other side of the gallery as well, Amy Pistorius, Oscar's sister, was the one who really burst out and started wiping her tears away. At some point, a court had to be adjourned as well, and when that did happen, the family went out into the passage and really started breaking down. So it was really an emotional day for both sides of the family, and the first reaction that we're seeing from the Steenkamp family, not from June Steenkamp herself, who has remained stony-faced all along, but from other members of the Steenkamp family who were seated next to her.
Chriselda, now the much anticipated cross-examination will in all probability start today at some point. What do we expect to be the cornerstones or the points of attack, for lack of better words, of Gerrie Nel when he puts Oscar on the spot, as it were?
Well, we've already seen Gerrie Nel in action when he cross-examined the defense's first witness, the pathologist Jan Botha. So we really dug into the testimony of Jan Botha, and we're expecting him to not to spare any punches when he cross-examines Oscar Pistorius on the events that happened that morning. We're expecting him, first of all, to ask Oscar Pistorius why he did not call an ambulance after realizing what he had done, why he did not first call an ambulance, because you will recall what we do know now is that Oscar Pistorius did call the Silverwoods estate manager, Mr. Stander. So really that will take center stage about how come Oscar Pistorius, after realizing that he says it mistakenly shot and killed his girlfriend Reeva Steenkamp, the first point would be to call an ambulance to try to save her life. And also Oscar would need to answer, of course, why he went up the flight of stairs after he had taken Reeva Steenkamp's body downstairs. Just some of the critical questions. Also relating to the fans, we previously heard about one fan that was brought in from the balcony. Yesterday we heard about 2 fans that Oscar Pistorius had alluded to. So really we were expecting Gerrie Nel to try and punch holes into that statement and look through finer detail exactly what Oscar Pistorius said, and basically try to find ways to get Oscar Pistorius to take the rap for murdering Reeva Steenkamp.
Chriselda, thank you very much. Chriselda, of course, as always, will keep us updated throughout the day as to what is happening at the North Gauteng High Court. It should be a very interesting day, a much anticipated day, with Oscar expected to go under cross-examination from Gerrie Nel. And if the precedents are anything to go by, it will be very difficult and there'll be lots of emotion involved.